I got the expectancy violation theory. This theory was founded by theorist Judy K. Burgoon in 1978 and sprouted from the uncertainty reduction theory. Judy was the most productive communications author in the 20th century, making her credible and connecting this theory to communications as a whole because of her knowledge within that field. This theory is when we're communicating with people, we create expectations on the way that they're going to react. This can be verbally or non verbally, but no matter which one it is, we create these expectations on how they're going to respond to what we're saying or the way that we're communicating with them. When these expectations are violated, is when this theory comes into play because what we expected is not true and they react in a different way than that, violating our expectations, playing into this theory. So the nonverbal communication includes gestures, eye contact, touch, posture, facial expressions, and body movement. Gestures can include things such as putting up your hand like this, and that would most likely mean stop. Even though we're not saying the word stop, it still communicates that idea because of the gestures that we're making nonverbally. Eye contact goes with this as well. If we're making eye contact with someone, we likely respect them and we care about what's happening. But if we break this eye contact, it's likely that we don't respect that person or we don't really care about what's going on and we're thinking about something else. Touch goes along with space. If we're moving towards someone or farther away from someone, that may mean that we're either uncomfortable in the situation if we're moving farther away or trying to get out of the conversation. But if we're moving closer to them, we may feel safe around them or want to be more engaged in the conversation. Along with touch, we could touch someone on the shoulder or something like that to show that we're sympathizing with them and that we're sorry. Although we're not saying that we're sorry or that we're being sympathetic, this concept is being portrayed through nonverbal communication. For posture, if we're slouching, we may be sad or we're not paying attention or don't care about what's happening around us, like eye contact. But if we're standing up, we're likely attentive and we care about what's happening, or we're happy in a better mood. For facial expressions, two examples are frowning or smiling, or even just like moving your eyebrows around, like furrowing your brow or something like that. But smiling would be going along with happiness, while frowning would be going along with sadness, most likely. Even though we're not saying we're happy or sad, we're showing that in a nonverbal communication aspect. The last one is body movement, which could be bouncing your leg, and this could show that you're anxious or that you have a lot of energy, and you're communicating this in a nonverbal way. To connect with this theory, nonverbal communication goes along with it because, an example, if I were to tell my friend that I could no longer hang out with them even though we made plans, I would expect them to slouch or frown because they're upset, but instead they smile and jump up and down. This would be an example of this theory because they're violating my expectations of the way that they're going to react to what I'm saying to them. Similar to this is verbal communication, but verbal communication is actually sounds that we're using to communicate. So this can be words or even sighing or groaning or anything like that. So any kind of sound that we're implementing to communicate with other people would be verbal communication. An example of this could be the same thing of me telling my friend that I can no longer hang out with them. I would expect them to say, "Oh shoot, I really wanted to hang out," but instead they might say, "That's okay, I have other plans." This is violating my expectations of the way that they're going to react verbally. This theory is realistic because there's uncontrollable factors within it, including expectations, reactions, and communication. So communication, you can't really go a whole day, or it would be really hard to go a whole day without communicating with anyone. So it's kind of hard to not communicate, and when we communicate, we're likely going to create expectations of the way that someone's going to react back to us. So it's likely that we're unintentionally doing so, but we might also intentionally be doing so. But when we tell someone something, no matter if it's something small or something big, someone is going to react. So we're going to have expectations of the way that this is going to happen. And this could be due to a culture that we've been grown up in, or knowing the person well, or something that we've encountered before. So we're going to create these expectations. And then, kind of like I said before, someone's going to react, whether it be in a small way, such as raising your eyebrows because you're surprised, or a simple smile because you're happy. Someone is going to react to what you're saying in any form, whether that be verbally or non-verbally. So these factors being uncontrollable are why this theory is realistic, because it's kind of hard for this to not happen. And the violation part of this is the only part that really needs to happen, including these factors. because when these three factors are in play, the only thing that really needs to happen for this theory to be true is the violation of that expectation. And this is likely to happen and kind of uncontrollable because it is very unlikely that we're going to be correct 100% of the time with our expectations. This theory is also practical because it's applicable and used today and every other day since I've started researching this. I've seen it happen in my life. So it's applicable because we can look back and see it in our day to day lives and watch it play out and pan out in our lives ourselves. It's not just like a theory that we hear about but never occurs in our own lives. In fact, I have a story from when I was writing this paper. I was sitting in class and my sister was in my class with me, and I didn't hear what the teacher said. And I asked her, I was like, what did he say? And typically she would yell at me and be like, why don't you just listen? So I expected her to say that, but instead she helped me and showed me what he said and where to start. So this violated my expectations because I did not expect her to act in that way. I expected her to react in a different way. Positive impacts for interpersonal communications. So, on reactions and relationship levels, this is connecting and positive for communications because it deepens our understanding. For reaction, when this theory, or not this theory, when our expectations are violated, we're going to have either a positive or a negative reaction. For the friend situation, I might have a positive reaction because I'm glad that they're not mad at me or not upset with me for canceling plans. But I might have a negative reaction because I think that they don't like me anymore and that they don't care about the fact that we can't hang out. For the relationship aspect of this, our reaction can be dependent on the relationship that we have with the other person. So if this situation happened with someone I'm not familiar with, I might not care as much and I might not have very much of a positive or a negative reaction because I don't know them well, so it doesn't really impact me. However, with my best friend, it might impact me a lot more because I thought that I knew them and I care about them, and them going against or violating my expectations might make me upset because I thought that I knew them well. But this proved that I didn't. For this video, it's going to give an example of a verbal communication aspect.
Hey, how are you? I hate going through those awkward situations in Byram every day. I totally expect her to say hey back, but she completely ignored me. Have you ever thought about why people are rude like that sometimes? Expectancy violation theory could tell us a lot about that.
This video is an example of verbal communication in this theory because when the guy is walking down the hallway, he expects her to say something back after he says, hey, how are you? But instead she stays silent. So verbally, he expects her to say something back, but she doesn't, violating his expectations in a verbal manner.